Okay guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's upload, we're back to another online race. We thought we'd start off with a challenge that I pretty much set myself on one of my older videos, where I said I'm just not going to qualify. Luckily, I mean, we didn't start right at the back. We actually started, I think it's 9th on the grid, as you can see there. So it wasn't as far back as it could have been, but it was still a challenge for this race, and it's give a really good race. There was some moments of your usual public lobby racing, which we'll see in a minute, but there was some good racing as well in this video, and I hope you watch right through to the end. It was a great race and a really fun race that I really enjoyed being in. Okay, so we're going to start the race. We're looking to get the best start we could, and we got a really nice start here. As you can see, we get a really good start from the line. Second phase of it, really nice in second gear, pulling past quite a few cars there. I think we must have took 3 or 4 cars in the end there. We go to our braking zone, and I got hit there. Someone's either braked very late or just not knowing I was there. I gave plenty of room on the right, and we're going to have a little look in slow motion now to see what actually happened there. As I don't know, I couldn't work out when it first happened, whether it was the Lamborghini that you can see there in front of us or if it was a different car. And we're going to have a little look. So you can see the second phase, when we got into second gear, was where we really gained time on that start. We got a really nice start, much better than what we normally get. And the Ferrari is a very quick starting car anyway, which is one of the benefits from using it online. And you can see there, the Lamborghini's behind us, but it doesn't look like he hits us. As you can see there, he's still behind us. It looks like someone else is coming from the right hand side, has just misjudged their braking from behind us and just gone straight into the side, the back end of the side of our car. And it's lost us a few places that we had gained there at the start. So we're going to carry on the race now. So we're in 6th place. Bit of frustrating there. We got damage then as well. We actually got some minor damage to the front and to the rear of the car. I actually think it might have been the front and the right hand side of the car actually got damaged when I think about it actually. But anyway, we've got minor damage. It's not going to be damage there. As you can see, 2 cars have spun, so we've got 2 cars back straight away. Always that corner is always a place you're going to gain some places back at the start of the race in a public lobby, pretty much guaranteed, as everyone always late breaks themselves going into that corner with cold tyres. So yeah, like I say, we got damage, which it was only minor damage, but it was enough probably to lose us a couple of attempts a lap. It wasn't going to cost us like half a second to a second. It was just maybe 2 to 3 attempts a lap. Bit frustrating, but you know, we worked around it. It affected some of the braking. To be honest, it was making the car a little bit unstable, but we sorted that in the end with a little brake bias change later on in the race. But you can see now we've got 1st, 2nd and 3rd right in front of us. We're in 4th place in a really nice position considering the start we had. We could have been a lot worse than what it was. So we can see that we got 3 reasonably fast guys in front of us as well. There's some very fast guys in this race. The guy driving the Lamborghini is an extremely fast driver. I've seen him in a few other lobbies. He's very clean, very fast, and he drives how you should drive in a public lobby. The other guy in the Audi, alright, very clean driver as well, also fast. And the guy in Z4, I don't think he's dirty. I think he just didn't know I was there with what happens in a bit. We'll get onto that in a minute. You can see we're right up their backside already. We didn't get the best exit on that corner, which lost us a chance of getting the overtake done, but luckily for ourselves, you'll see what happens now, as we're going to just try and keep it clean and keep it on the track really at this point. I'm going to go into the braking zone, looking out for the 100 again. We brake quite late there. We were going to try and see if we could throw it up the inside, but you can see we backed off and he made a little mistake getting on the power. He got on the power a little bit too soon, and that lost him the pull out of that corner. As you can see, this Ferrari gets very good pulling, and when we've altered the gearing from our old setup slightly, which we'll go into in a later video. But you can see we got swiped from the side. I don't think he knew we were there. I'm not 100% sure. It did look dirty, but I wasn't too sure. I was pretty annoyed, but we'll have a little look at it again. You can see there where we backed off on the corner, but he's got on the power coming off that corner a little bit too fast. We actually got a really nice exit from that, going through the gears. With the gearing we've got now, we've got it so we change gear a little bit early. We get really nice pull, even though we're running quite high downforce. So you can see now we're in a position where we're pretty much level, and we're still gaining on him slightly. In 6th gear now we start to pull a bit better, and we're pretty much alongside him, but going into the braking zone where we hit the brakes there, and I don't think he's noticed, he's just come right over. He should have really stayed to the right hand side, because he would have had an arrow on his screen. It's something that I think a lot of people need to start paying attention of, is the red arrows on your screen when you're racing. They show you where the cars are. If there's a red arrow on your left, there's a car on your left. If it's on your right, it's on your right. If it's right down on the bottom right hand side, it's towards the back of your car. You just got to pay attention to that, bear that in mind when racing online. So we're back down. We lost a fair bit. You can see how much time we've lost there, and I think we actually got a tiniest little bit of damage there. It didn't show up on the the damage screen, sometimes it doesn't. I do notice that sometimes you do get damage, it doesn't actually show up on there, but we got a fairly hefty whack, and it definitely seemed to be affecting the braking when we're going into right hand corners again, so we did have to actually make that brake bias change, because I wasn't coping with it to start with, but I think after a couple of laps we decided to make a brake bias change, and I was a little bit annoyed because I was thinking, well, there goes a chance of winning this race. But like we kept at it, and we pushed hard, and the main aim was to catch up to these guys as fast as we can, especially the guy in Z4. I don't think he had the pace that the other guys had. So going onto the back straight, and we're not going to get anywhere near any overtaking positions on this lap. So this lap was about just keeping calm, just trying to get back into a rhythm, because I was getting into that frustration. I get really annoyed when something like that happens. I start getting frustrated, and it's just about calming yourself down, getting back into a rhythm of racing, and driving cleaner. I get really angry. I mean, it'd be great if I could actually get some sort of record. I need to get some sort of recording equipment to record it while I'm playing, because my reactions when I'm playing, I literally it's probably like most other people, this screaming and stuff, calling them all names under the sun. But we managed to keep it clean now, and we've actually gained quite a bit of time on that corner there. You can see this Ferrari with this slightly altered setup to what I gave out a while ago. It's got really good traction coming out the bends, and especially if you get the brake balance perfect, sometimes it needs altering the brake balance depending on the track grip conditions. This track wasn't at its best. I think it was about 98%, something like that, 97, 98%. So it wasn't going to give the best lap times that you're going to get in a race. But what people need to remember is, in a race, the track rubbers in. So what might start off at 98% might end up at 100%. It just varies on how many cars are in the race, etc., and how many stay in the lobby. But you can see now we've got really close, and this is the point where I feel I've got a chance of getting the Z4 now. We lined our car up, we used a bit of the curve, nothing like what was in the other video when the Porsche was taking the bit extreme on that. We just used a bit of the outside line. We really got on the power nicely there into fourth gear, gave us a really nice pull out of that corner, and you can see we got the fastest lap on the previous lap, which wasn't even a good lap. And now we're going past the car now into fourth position. That was a fairly simple move, nothing too hard about it. I mean, it was mainly due to the line we took, which I'll let you have a little look in slow motion now. When we go back to it now, you'll see we actually lined it up going into this corner now, moved over to the left and really chucked it in and tried to get it in fourth gear as early as possible without going on the curve on the left too much. See how we really got in fourth gear there nice and early? That gives us a slingshot we needed. So it was just about getting that move done. I wanted to get that done before the set turn 2, so we could keep the momentum going to get up to the first and second place guys. As you can see, they were pulling away quite a bit there, and we really did need to get a move on and try and catch up. Even with the damaged car, it was going to be a struggle to catch the Lamborghini, because the guy driving the Lamborghini is a very fast driver, and with the damage we had, it was going to be a battle. But we were starting to gain slightly here. You can see I think he was getting held up slightly by the Audi, although he's not right up the back end of that Audi, but I think he starts putting his foot down and realising when he sees that I was gaining on him that he really does need to start pushing a bit harder. As you can see there, we're starting to drop the Z4 quite, not saying easily, but we start pulling away quite comfortably once we get back into a rhythm, and we've now just got to concentrate on getting these final 2 places back. I really enjoyed this race. I really do need to start doing more of these races, maybe do it, stream it as well, because at least you can record and you'll get some of the reactions that I do when people do stupid things. But we'll try and do some streaming where we just don't qualify. We'll just join the lobby with 2 minutes of qualifying left and see what we can do. It's not always going to work out the way you want. Sometimes you're going to get a lobby of 4 or 5 really fast guys and you're just going to not really go anywhere, but you have to just live with that and just see what you can do and see what the best result is possible. But this race, even with the fast guys, it was really fun and enjoyable. We were pushing hard, because obviously with that damage, it was, like I said before, it wasn't going to cost us a lot of time, but I was convinced about the second shunt we had causing us a bit of damage that may have slowed us down a bit more. So maybe we're 3 to 4 attempts, maybe at 4 attempts at most slower than what we would have been, maybe 2 to 3 attempts. Probably a better judgment of how much time we were losing, but we could probably counter that by pushing a little bit harder. So I was trying to go really aggressive into some of these calls. You can see the early lines I was taking. I was really getting aggressive as I wanted to try and fight back as much time as I could on these 2 guys up ahead. As you can see now, I'm gaining. It's not much though. It's probably only maybe 3-4 attempts a lap at the moment, I needed one of these guys to make a move, or for the guy driving the Lamborghini to really put some pressure on the Audi, so I could then get closer, and then I've got a chance of maybe picking up second place or maybe first at a push and see what we could do. So you can see that we had a back marker there, which definitely cost him the Lamborghini a bit of time as he ran wide. I ran wide there, not knowing where he was going to go. I didn't have a clue where he was going to go, and I don't know if we actually clipped the Mercedes there. I don't know if he was just trying to get out of the way of everyone. I'm not too sure what he was doing, or whether he's just really slow, but I think he actually causes a bit of trouble actually later on in the race, as you'll see. So I think it's just that he's literally clueless. Not too sure. He might have just been new to the game, so we won't slate him too badly. But some of the stuff that happened in the race later on is quite bad, and maybe it's a reason why. I know these are simulation games, and I know Project Cars is a simulation game, but once a car is about to be lapped, I really feel that car should just be ghosted. They're a lap down. I know it takes away from the realistic element of the game, but in a realistic race you wouldn't get people driving half the lap time speed that other guys are driving. You wouldn't get people sitting off in the middle of the corners, blocking lines. All you have to do is what Drive Club did with their online lobbies, is just add an ability. Once you're about to lap them, yours and their car becomes a ghost, so they cannot get in the way of any race, and they don't ruin any races. It's impossible for them to ruin a race. So if you've got someone sitting on a corner, they're not going to cause any harm, because you're just going to drive straight through them. It can't be hard to implement, because Drive Club managed to do it fairly easy. Like, they did it very quickly with an update, just when people were saying, there's too many people doing this and that, and they incorporated it into the game and got it implemented. So it's something that I think they, people at Slightly Mad Studios and Kunos need to think about with Project Cars and Assetto Corsa, as it's just, especially on console, maybe not so much on PCs. You don't really get it so much on PC. I don't really notice that many people doing it, but on console it's definitely an issue. On every single racing game I've ever played, you will get people deliberately taking people out, you will get people parking on corners, and it's just something that they could do with looking at. Because the thing with console is, most people that race simulation games in the console, some of them are okay, but you got 50% of them that are not so fast, so you're going to get issues like that. Anyway, you can see now in the race we've caught up to the Audi. Now the Lamborghini's managed to get himself past the Audi. I was a little bit disappointed that he did that before I had a chance to get right behind them. I really did need the Lamborghini to be basically passing him as I was right behind him, and I could try and follow him through, but as it was, caught up a fair bit of time, so he was only held up a little bit, and now it's just about trying our hardest to see if we can get past this Audi. At worst come off with a second place finish, but it wasn't going to be the easiest challenge really. Okay, so we've got reasonably close now. We can start thinking about getting a position to make a move. Maybe on my favourite position on this track is going into turn 2 for overtaking. I've pulled off quite a few moves in different types of cars, whether it be the GT4, GT3, different cars all the time. It's really the best place you're going to get an overtaking move done on this track, as a lot of people find the exit quite hard on this corner. As you can see now, we're going to line up again. We do slightly run a bit wide and compromise our exit slightly. We run a little bit wide onto curb, trying to throw it in, slightly miss the apex slightly, go a little bit wide. We don't get as clean an exit as I would have liked, although it's still a reasonable exit. You can see there we're gaining on our time, but that is slightly helped with the slipstream that we're in. Now we're going to pull out of that slipstream, and we're going to look for our braking zone, and we're going to brake pretty much dead on it, but we're going to, if you watch, I'll show you what I did in a minute when we slow it down. We managed to stay ahead of him there, but now we've got to concentrate on making sure this move sticks. It was a really nice move that I pulled off there, and I wanted to make sure I didn't lose that in the next corner, so I stayed to the left. I can see the arrow on my bottom right hand corner is pointing behind my back rear, so I give him space into that corner, leave enough space for him to go down there if he's going to throw one up. He doesn't go for that, so we brake really late anyway, and we held the outside line. We made that move stick. So what I'm going to do now, I've slowed this down into as slow as I pretty much could. Not well, I could have gone slower, but as much as without dragging it on too long, to show you guys what I did in the braking zone. It's something I do try and do into long braking zones like this, where you've got a high top speed and you go into a tight corner, is I'll brake round about where I'd want to brake anyway, and I'll reduce some of my speed with the obviously it's by maximum braking, and then I'll lift off the brake to about 50% and then smooth it back on and then lift it gradually back off. If you look at the accelerator dial in the bottom right hand corner now, it's all green. Wait for the red braking meter to fill up and you'll see what I mean now. So we're going flat out now, and we're going to look around the 100-yard board. You'll see we brake around the maybe just before the 100. You'll see there we're going full red there now. We're there full red, and you'll see it dip there. It dips down to about 50% and then gradually back up to 100%. And you've got to be quick at doing it, and you've got to time it perfectly. This keeps the rotation going and just gives you that little shoot of speed going into the braking zone, which is going to basically shoot you past an opponent. But you've got to judge it so well, or you'll end up just running off into the off the track and losing a lot of time. It was one of my best moves I've actually done on the game, to be fair. I think it might not have looked as easy as it was, but we were coming from quite far back, and he actually braked dead on the braking spot. Someone's actually mentioned on Twitter he braked too early. He didn't. He braked where you should brake. He braked the perfect braking if you want to get a clean exit on that last one. I just don't think he expected me to throw that up there, and it was a move I had to do if I had a chance of winning. But luckily, well, not luckily, this actually annoyed me slightly. It's ruined the race. Again, that Mercedes comes over and takes the Lamborghini out of the lead. He clean swipes him out. He's not looking. I don't know what he's playing at. So we're now in a position where we've got second place right behind us, and I've got to overtake this guy. And there's a guy that cleanly gets out the way. He's out the way. He knows what he's doing. He's out the way of the race. But this Mercedes is still trying to race us. I don't know if he understands when you get lapped. We go to take the inside line, and he just turned in on us, hit us. Luckily, we didn't get took out in that. He actually lost his back end because he turned in on us, which was quite lucky and quite satisfying, to be honest, because if you're in that position where you're getting lapped and you've got the blue flags, don't try and race the leaders. Just let them go. He wasn't even racing anyone really. I mean, he had that blue Nissan, but that blue Nissan had got out the way and had let everyone pass. He wasn't getting involved with this race. He was a clean racer that knew he didn't want to get involved with it. But the other guy was just causing mayhem all over the track. Really, just take if you're not up to speed, learn the game. Even, I mean, I don't know who that is. Another Mercedes. I don't know if that was actually. I'm guessing there's two Mercedes drivers that were. That may have been a totally different. This made me think now, was there two Mercedes drivers that were a bit off speed? I think the other one might have actually been an SLS, but either way, I don't think that was actually deliberate. That was a mistake by the looks of it. He's lost it on that corner, which can happen to anyone. I've actually made a few mistakes on that corner myself and nearly lost the back end, etc., especially in the GT4 cars when you can't build the heat up. But he lost the back end there, and we literally had nowhere to go. We've hit him, got more damage again to our front, so we've got quite bad damage on our front now. And we've got this lap and then one final lap. Luckily for ourselves, we are able to keep up the speed and just concentrate and try not to lose the rhythm. So we're now in first place, and we've still got second place right behind us, you can see there, but it's just about trying to. I knew I had a bit of a speed advantage over this guy, although he was a fast, clean racer. I think his lap times were around the 1:30.8, maybe something like that, I'm guessing, but I knew I could gain half a second on him, at least, even with the damaged car that we had, as our car was extremely damaged. I mean, you can see how far we could have done with him, even with that first corner. We could have, even though the conditions weren't perfect, they were getting better at the end of the lap. I think if we had a clean car that had no damage, we would have been able to hit a 29.6 in the race. I think what we did after this race was went into it, stayed in this lobby. It was a reasonably okay lobby. We stayed with the Lamborghini. We took pole by, I think it was under half a tenth from the Lamborghini with a 29.6. Although the lap could have been better. I was 200s up at one point, so I know I can get this Ferrari into a 29.3, 29.4. It's just got to be a good lap with this Ferrari. Whereas I've heard the Lamborghini can actually get into the 29.3s fairly easy. So we do really need to try and get that Lamborghini set up. Although it's a car that something about it that just doesn't suit my driving style. I'm really going to have to try and figure out a setup for that car. And to be fair, this track really should suit the Lamborghini in terms of its layout. It's very fast. Lamborghini has good cornering grip as well, so its layout really should be basically helping the Lamborghini in every way. So I really do just need to take my time and try and do a setup on that car. So I've got it into a 29.7 with it was only about 10-15 minutes of setting it up. I just don't like the car. It just doesn't suit my driving style. I could found it harder to get consistency than I did with the Ferrari, but I think I'll have to just stick with it and try and get it as low as I can, because if I can get the Ferrari into 29.4, that Lamborghini may be able to hit a very low 29.1 or 2, just need a bit of effort I think. So you can see there we won the race, totally enjoyable race. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't and give this a thumbs up.